I agree. I think that leads us perfectly on to speaking of collections, the Great Diary Project, which
Oh, the
you
Great Diary Project.
it just for anyone who hasn't heard of it, could you just give us an overview and tell us how it started?
Yes, I'm very proud of the Great Diary Project because it's actually was my idea, and it's come into being um, with a lot of help from a lady called Polly North and the guy at the Institute of the Bishopsgate Institute, Stefan, um, who was in charge of the archive, and we got the thing from an idea into reality. And people often in life say, "Ah, somebody ought to this, somebody ought to that, somebody ought to run the railways," that kind of. There's a whole load of someone's hanging
Yeah.
about in purgatory, waiting for a job, of course. Anyway, I discovered the interesting phenomenon, which I didn't suspect, that in houses, in families, where you have a diarist, um, say, of a grandmother or grandfather type, and the grandfather or grandmother dies, the minute they do, their diary is in peril.
Mm.
Because for a lot of reasons, the people who inherit the stuff or people on whom the stuff is dumped, which is more of a way of looking at it, can't wait to get rid of it. And they put it in a skip or they put it on the bonfire and they get rid of it. And there's a kind of remorseless passage. You might have a person who writes a diary every day for 73 years, expires, and a month later it's all ash. This is a criminal and terrible, terrible thing. So I had this idea of starting a rescue project. It's really a rescue project to articulate the reasons why diaries should always be rescued for the future and where they should go and what should be done with them. And after I'd been on the radio and made a lot of noise about it, I met these other two, and Stefan agreed to take in Bishopsgate Institute. He gave us a kind of big room for storage. You get a lot of diaries in a room. It's amazing. And we advertised this, that we would take diaries of any kind, at any period, any language, either gender, any part of the world, ink, pencil, anything you can see, anything vaguely like a diary, we want it. And we will look after it forever and ever, and we will keep it as a voice of the human race, because there are many people in the world who never write books.
Hmm.
Stands to reason, and lots of people in the old days never did any broadcasting or any of this kind of thing. So that when they die, they have their genetic inheritance, that's to say their children, but nothing else to show they ever really existed. And lots of people like that die with a diary of greater or lesser length as a fruit of their intellectual process.